is Scotland, The Drive, with Alan Douglas and Ali Bally.
Hello and welcome to edition number 10 of Scotland, The Drive. I'm Ali Bally.
And I'm Alan Douglas.
Great to be here. Thank you very much indeed for being with us. This week, what we're looking at, well, we'll look at what we've been driving.
And you've been driving again.
I have.
Which is good.
Yeah.
Not only are we both in the pink, you're particularly in the pink.
No, it wasn't organised, honestly. The shirts would have been ironed.
Well, speak for yourself. You finally got back on the road.
Yes. It's be good that the vehicles that are available to me at the moment have been automatic,
Good.
it was my left knee, so that's worked out quite well.
And you managed okay?
Managed okay.
You didn't hit anything?
I didn't hit anything.
Well, that's good.
No, it's still it's going all right. So, I'm back on the road. You've been driving the Starry, which
Well, we'll talk about that.
Talk about it a minute
Later on. But
right. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I've been out on the road.
Out and about.
Yes.
And Jonathan Watson from Two Doors Down on four-wheel drive, love of his life.
He's Colin, isn't he? He's Colin Two Doors Down.
Yeah.
I don't know that cars feature very much in Two Doors Down.
No, they're never out of the house.
No, that's the whole point, isn't it?
The whole production of that programme is done in some semi and Newton Mearns, and that's it.
Yeah.
Right, let's get on with it.
Alan Douglas and Ali Bally. This is Scotland, The Drive.
Right, so you're not particularly into rallying, are you?
I enjoy watching it, but not for long periods of time.
So you'll be interested, or maybe you won't be interested in the fact that the World Rally Championships is coming not only to the UK, but it's coming to Scotland.
Yeah, been a lot of publicity on that. It's a big deal, isn't it?
It's fantastic. It really is brilliant. If you see the coverage of the World Rally Championship on ITV, the cars are amazing. When I did rallying, it was a lot slower. It was man's rallying then, you know.
Did you ever win anything?
Not actually first, but
no. That's the longest 10 seconds he's taken to say no at any time.
No, but rallying, you know, part of the achievement is just to start and finish, you know, and still be in relatively one piece. You don't necessarily have to win, but if you give a good performance, that's rally. Anyway, we're talking about the World Rally Championship coming to Scotland, which is absolutely brilliant. I mean, there's always been a lot of work going on behind the scenes. It'll be headquartered in Aberdeen and contested in the forests of Aberdeenshire for the next 3 years from 2027. And it was a deal struck with Motorsport UK with support from the Scottish Government, Aberdeen City Council and Aberdeenshire Council. So as I say, there's been a lot of work going on in the background that we didn't know much about or didn't hear much about. But well done. I think it's absolutely brilliant. The last time it was in Scotland was in 1995, but that was only when the RAC rally made a small detour into the borders. It was 1992, the nation hosted a full stage. So, you know, it's a long time coming, and it will be brilliant. The actual championship itself is over 14 rounds across 4 continents, and it's expected that the Scottish event will be in August or autumn sometime in 2027, and it could be worth as much as £80 million to the local economy.
Some of the figures that were throwing about was amazing. So well done to the organisers who pulled that together.
So that's 2027, but before all that, the Lombard Rally are bringing a historic rally to Scotland in 2026 in August this year. They've run a historic rally in Ayrshire in 2024 and last year, and so they're going to continue doing that, but they're also going to do this extra event in the grounds of Brechin Castle, and that'll be great. There'll be not only the historic cars, but some historic drivers as well. So names, some of the flying Finns from the past will be there. So I'm going to go to that.
You going?
I'm definitely going, yeah. Saturday the 13th of June to Sunday the 14th of June at Brechin Castle. Be well worth seeing if you're at all interested in rally cars. It's certainly worth watching. Now then, road safety. We're all very interested in road safety, aren't we? Have you noticed? Maybe you haven't noticed. There's been a lot of announcements in the past week or so. You would think there was an election coming.
I think I said that a few weeks ago.
There are a lot of announcements from the government, the Scottish Government, from Transport Scotland. And one of the things they've announced is a £750,000 fund to support road safety projects in Scotland. And basically, public sector bodies, professional associations, registered charities, university departments, basically lots of public bodies can apply for grants to set up road safety initiatives, road safety projects. There's no hard and fast rule to it, but you can apply for some of this fund. And, well, yeah, it's good. But as I say, it's one of these things that, isn't it funny that all these things are coming along? There was a few others that I'm going to refer to later on.
Would you not do the same thing if you were a politician?
Of course.
Yeah, exactly.
What's that you say? Buying votes? No,
yeah.
surely not. Other bits and snippets of news. KGM, we've talked about KGM before. And all credit to Station Garage of Torfins for exceptional performance across all areas of the business during the past 12 months. And for that, they've been awarded the Dealer of the Year. Not only that, but they did it last year and the year before. Sorry, they did it 24 and 23, and they've also been awarded it for 25. So that's great. And the second was another Scottish dealer, Sales Dealer of the Year. They also got that, but also Belmont KGM near Edinburgh was second. So excellent. Well done. So dealers are doing something right. These two particular dealers are obviously doing something right. What else are we going to talk about? Forgot what we're going to talk about.
Well, you were talking about me driving.
Yes, we were talking about you driving.
And I have been driving, normally where we have Lorraine's Lane. She's out there road testing cars. So this time round, in came a van, not a car. So Lorraine sort of shied away a little bit. So I thought, I can do that.
With your gammy leg.
With my gammy leg. Here we go.
This is Scotland the Drive with Alan Douglas and Ali Bally.
It's not often a van comes around on the test drive rota. So when they do, I'm quite happy to get behind the wheel. Who knows when you've got a settee to move. Now, it's been said this is the biggest van company you've probably never heard of. Yeah, I know. It's a new name coming in again. It's been the best-selling commercial vehicle brand in China for well over 10 years. This is the Farizon SV. And it's part of the Geely Group, where you'll also find Volvo, Polestar, Lotus, and a few of their own makes. And you'll be hearing more of the Geely Group and their models in the next couple of editions of Scotland the Drive, as we've got more of their vehicles coming up to test drive. So the main area of their products, I suppose, are trucks and buses, but they're now getting very much into passenger cars. If you're watching this edition of Scotland the Drive on YouTube, you can see the Farizon on the video that was running a little bit there, just a small snippet of it to give you an idea. Now, if you're listening on TikTok or Spotify, whatever, let's just say it's a quirky looking vehicle. And certainly attracted attention, certainly did. The Farizon SB sits between the Ford E-Transit and the Ford E-Transit Custom in size. So you're looking about a transit size. In addition to entry by the rear doors, as you would expect, there's no central pillar on the passenger side, which allows for an extra wide opening door, which is an extra way of getting in there. And it did come in handy. It also brings new technology to the market in the form of drive-by-wire technology, which controls the steering, the brakes, and the throttle. And this allows for more compact packaging and more space for the battery, which goes in below the van's body. Now, I drove the Farizon loaded and unloaded and enjoyed both, although I would have preferred a wee bit more comfort in the cabin. I think they have a wee bit, some extra items they can add in there. And I'm not a fan, as I've said before, of most of the controls being on a screen in the middle of the dashboard, and you're driving along and you're having to find where it goes. That just doesn't work for me at all. So, needless to say, it's there and it didn't win me over. The SB has a 4-year, 125-mile warranty, 125,000, warranty, with 8 years of cover for the battery. The dealer network is being developed, so Farizon has an after-sales arrangement with the AA just in case anything should happen. And the questions I was asked a few times, I have to say, by tradesmen who were looking at it, and they were very keen at looking at it as well. Question I was asked: what's the range and what's the price? Well, the all-electric range is around 240 miles, and I charged it from 20% up to 80%, and it took around 36 minutes, and it cost me £34. So there's an idea of it. Prices start at £40,000 on the road, excluding VAT. You want to find out more? Punch in Farizon into your search engine and have a complete read of the whole thing.
Scotland the Drive with Alan Douglas and Ali Bally.
So back behind the wheel in a van. How did you find it then? It was all right.
It was okay. It was good, yes. And a van's a van, let's face it. And as I say on the report there, if you're watching this edition on YouTube, then you can see the van. You can see what it's like, and it's very quirky. And the colour that you actually see is the colour that I had. So you can't miss it.
It's a bit like an ice cream van, isn't it?
Very much so. And it may well be in time. Who knows? We'll turn them into. Yeah, I got a lot of interest from tradesmen. They were looking at it in the drive. They were stopping to have a look at it when it was parked somewhere. So it caused quite a bit of interest. So yes, it was the first van we've had for a while, and I did have a settee to move, so it was great.
And it charged quickly as well.
Charged quickly, yes. Yep, yeah, as I said, it was 36 minutes, I think, and it had charged.
No,
It was good. Yeah.
I've had a good drive. We had a couple of days around Royal Deeside. You know that area.
Yep,
don't
do
you?
it well. Yep.
Braemar, Ballater, Bankery. And I was in the Starry, the Gilly Starry, which is the petrol hybrid.
Yeah.
Very nice car. Very annoying at times because like all these things, it had all the safety features which you have to cancel. Apparently there is a shortcut, but I wasn't able to find it. But the annoying thing is that they reset or they cancel. You cancel them and they reset every time you stop. I mean, I stopped briefly to get out to open a gate, and when I got back in, it cancelled everything again. So I had to reset them or cancel them all again. So it was annoying.
Do you think that could have been operator error in any way?
Well, it's like all these things. If you had the car, if you owned the car, you would get used to it. And these safety features are fine, but they can be annoying. But the really annoying thing about the car is that everything is on the central screen. You want to open the sunroof, you want to open the blind for the sunroof, you have to go to the screen and press the button. To open the petrol filler, you have to press a button. And I had to go to the handbook to find out where this button was on the screen.
Well, it was as I was saying on that report, if you've listened and watched there, the one thing that annoys me is the screens where you're driving along. I'm driving a van, for goodness sake, and it's loaded up with whatever, and I'm a tradesman and I want to find something like a radio station, and you've got to try and organise a screen in front of you. It's not safe to me. It shouldn't be. Give me a button.
Well, anyway, we'll see how you get on because you've got the car now. So we'll see how you get on with it.
Yes.
I find it frustrating, but it was a lovely car to drive, great economy. At one point, I was up to something like averaging 70 miles per gallon. I was being quite easy on the right foot, but it was that's excellent. Actually, what intrigued me about driving around there, around the Royal Deeside, these nice roads, the roads are very good. Beautiful surfaces. And I thought, this is amazing. Why can't all the roads be like this? And of course, then the penny dropped. That's the road that the King goes on when he lands at Aberdeen Airport and he gets driven to Balmoral. He drives along those roads. Well, he's driven along those roads. And it got me thinking, I bet the King doesn't know what a pothole is. He's never seen a pothole. He's never had to dodge a pothole. And then I thought,
our question of the edition, does the King know what a pothole is? Because we do.
It's a bit like, the royal family think the world smells of fresh paint because everywhere they go, things have just been painted. And I'm sure he thinks that every road is beautiful, like the roads around Royal Deeside.
We were talking on the last edition about the street outside where we record this from. The guys turning up and filling in the pothole, but leaving the biggest one.
Yeah.
They came back 2 days later and
did
filled it.
they?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, they must have heard you.
Well, I don't know why they said, but why go away? Why not just do it at the one time?
Hey, the benefit of the King having a wee place in Royal Deeside is that we can enjoy some nice roads there. And it was really pleasurable driving. The surfaces are fantastic.
Well, we shall.
The car was nice as well. But I'll save my full
Yeah.
thoughts on the car till you've had a chance to drive it as well.
We shall let Lorraine do Lorraine's lane on the next one on
Yes,
that car and
yes,
see what she thinks.
Right.
Good stuff.
So, my first drive,
Yes,
and it's Jonathan Watson.
certainly is.
Jonathan Watson of Two Doors Down. Colin in Two Doors Down. He doesn't talk about much about cars in the programme, but that's, as you say, because it's all set inside the house. But we sat him down and got him to talk about his first, or his big love of his own particular four-wheel drive.
This is Scotland, the Drive, my first car.
Well, Jonathan Watson, welcome to Scotland the Drive. Thanks for joining us to talk about. But you're pretty busy these days, aren't you?
Yeah, we're okay. We've been kept out of mischief, so no complaints there. Yeah. But,
Well, you're best known for only an excuse, but also Two Doors Down. Seems to be repeated all the time at the moment, doesn't it?
yeah, mostly Two Doors Down. We stopped doing online excuse about probably about 3-4 years ago. So when things you know yourself, when a program ends, the public forget about it quite quickly. So whatever you're working on at present, that's the thing that they tend to remember you for.
So what about Two Doors Down then? It's a good laugh to watch. Is it a good laugh to do?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good job. It's well written. It's got a nice cast, a good cast. We all got on pretty well. We haven't done a series for a couple of years because you probably know one of the writers passed away tragically, and we managed to come together again in the summer of 25 to record a Christmas special. And we're about to go in and do dates in the Hydro later on this year. But it is a good job to do, but it's hard work. When you film it, it's there's not much room for messing about, so to speak.
How long does it take to do an episode?
We usually turn out an episode every week. So yeah, and it's a 5-day week, Monday to Friday. So you're in front of the camera 8 a.m. till 7 p.m. And then they've got there'll be sort of outside broadcast stuff to film for that episode, and we'll have filmed that usually in advance. But yeah, we get through so the episode is just shy of 30 minutes. So we managed to rattle that off in about 5 days. Yeah.
What's the difference going to be going to the Hydro for you?
Well,
the
the main difference. Sorry?
For the cast, I mean.
Yeah, the main difference will be, or the challenge will be judging the laughs. I mean, I think I'm about the only one in the cast that has actually played it, and it's like a wall of sound. So we'll find a way to work it properly. I mean, I've got friends that are in still game, and obviously in years gone by, they played it as well. So I'll seek their advice and get tips. Yeah.
But you're looking forward to it, are you?
Oh yeah, very much so. Yeah, yeah. We're all looking forward to it because after Simon passed away, we were due to actually do it a few months later, and everything was pulled. So we never thought we'd get the opportunity to do it again. So this is such a pleasant surprise. So no, we will have a good time. Yeah.
Well, we're supposed to talk about cars.
Right. Okay.
You like your cars, don't you?
I do, yeah. I've always liked a nice car, and yeah, and I was actually thinking back about the very first time I drove a car. It's all these years ago, many years ago. I can still remember. It was my dad's. It was a Triumph Herald 1360, Valencia blue, and the reg was WUS 815H. And I can remember when my dad picked it up, because my dad, he started out as a commercial artist, but moved into advertising. And one of his clients was McHargrenny and Lindsay, who were based near the Mitchell Library. And it's away now, but it used to be with these old garages. You'll remember, I'm sure, they would go down into what was like the basement of the building. But I remember driving out of that, out of the old garage at McHargren and Lindsay, in this new car that my dad got. So
You had a license, I presume.
no, I didn't. I didn't drive it out. I was only probably about 13, 14. I did drive it when I was 17. One Sunday up at Park Circus, which caused my dad great anxiety. I can remember his knees still being up near the dashboard to kind of brace the impact if I took it into a lamppost or something. But yeah.
So that's your first memory of a car,
Yeah.
first experience with a car. And so run through some of the other ones you've had since then.
Well, when although I drove my dad's car when I was about 17, I actually didn't pass my test till I was about 24, 25. And I had a break, a month's break between jobs. I'd finished a TV thing, and I was about to start rehearsals for a play before it went through to the Edinburgh Festival. And I had a month off, and I went into a wee place in Byers Road and explained the situation. They said, right, we'll do all we can to help you, see if we can do this in 4 weeks. And at that time, a driving lesson was £2.50. So I was able to scrunch it all in. And halfway through it, 2 weeks into it, my dad knew this guy who had a garage down in South Street. And I bought an ex-hire Ford Fiesta, Popular Plus, from him. And because that was the car that I was learning to drive in. And I kept it at the back of my mum and dad's, the flats where mum and dad stayed. And we'd practice every night, 3-point turns and all that kind of stuff. And so after the 4 weeks, I sat my test at Anniesland. And I mean, you look back, the theory exams you've got now. I remember the guy saying, "What's that?" I went, "Don't know. What's that?" And at the end of it, he said, "Well, Mr. Watson, I'm happy to tell you you've passed your test." And my first words to him were, "You're kidding." So, so that was my first car was a Ford Fiesta, and GNA 397Y. I can't remember many of the other ones, but that I remember that, Reg. And but then after that, I got an old, the old shape of the Volkswagen Siroccos.
Oh, yeah.
I managed to get one of these, and after that, it's been, with the exception of a Honda, it's nearly all been German cars that I've gone for. We went for a Honda not long after I got married and our Jack was born. We had a chance to get sort of a small Honda 4x4. I think Greg Hempel had one, and he recommended it to me, and I decided to go for that. And but other than that, it's always been German cars. Yeah.
But the last time I saw you in a car, you were in a Saab convertible, wasn't it?
That's correct. That's well remembered. So that was the exception, the exception to the rule. That cropped up because I had a pal in the motor trade, and this one came up, and it was a good price. It was completely impractical with a young family, but we kept it for a couple of years. Yeah.
But you sent me a picture of a BMW Z3.
I sent you that because that's my favourite car ever. That was a pal of Chick Young's who was in the motor trade, and my mum had just passed away. So any time that I'd got a car, it was always so to get the family in and everything like that. So when mum passed away, it was just me and dad. So this Z3 came up, and it had been the BMW press car. So it had quite a sort of high mileage, and it had a cloth interior. But I got it for a right good price, and I loved it. I mean, a lot of folk didn't like that roadster because it was a proper roadster. You know, you felt every bump in the road. But the cloth interior looked a wee bit shabby. So I don't know how I found out about this place, but there was a car upholsterer who had a garage beside the railway station at Johnson, and I took it to him, and he gave me a good price to do it up in black leather. But he was one of these guys who was really devoted to his craft. You know, he took such pride in his work. And the car was called, the colour was Atlantic blue. And when I went to pick it up, he took great pride in telling me that he said, I managed to get stitching that was the same colour as Atlantic blue. So it looked amazing. And I loved that car. But sadly, married, family came along, and then housework had to be upgraded. And I eventually sold it after a good few years so we could get a fitted kitchen.
I think it's fair to say any car you bought and anything you bought for it was at a good price. I think you drive a bargain, Jonathan.
Well, no, I'm not. I'm actually that's I don't want to create the false impression. I actually take good advice from folk within the trade, you know. So,
But you took advice from Chick Young. That's
no, I would never
No
do that,
denying.
Alan, as you well know. But no, it was a friend of Chick's at the time who had a garage in the south side, and he got me. I don't know how, but he got his hands in this Z3 that had been the press car, and yeah, it was great.
Yeah, mind you, we've got experience at press cars, and there's a saying that, like rental cars, press cars feel no pain.
Oh, that's good.
So
That's
it
good.
probably had a hard life before you
Well,
got the accident.
I think it did, but I don't really. I was prepared to take the chance because I don't batter my cars into the ground. So, it was really. And when I sold it, I remember the guy that bought it was a real enthusiast, and he'd been looking for, it was the first shape of the Z3s. He'd been looking for one for ages, and he'd been going along to places, and they'd take the tarpaulin off, and there'd be this wreck there. So when he turned up at my house, he couldn't believe it. It was immaculate. So yeah.
So after that, then what did you go for after that?
We then, and I've stuck with them since. We've gone for Audis, and they've been great cars. I've really enjoyed. The first one I got was far too powerful. I remember I got it in Manchester. The same guy that got me the Saab got me this this thick deal lined up in Manchester, and actually I traded the Saab in for it, right? And it was something like, I don't know, 3.2 litre or something like that. I mean, it took me about, I remember going down, it was January and it was windy like it is today. It took me about 5 hours to get down and about half an hour to get back. It was, but it was a great car, but it was far too powerful. So when I sold that one, I got much more reasonable ones. But went through a few A3s. I loved driving the A3 and S3s for a few of these, but I've now settled with an Audi Q3, which I wasn't going to. I wanted to get another S3 again, and there was none. I usually get them about a year old. There was nothing kicking about, and it was my wife said. She said that Q3's nice, and I wasn't sure. I really wasn't sure about it. And it's the best car I've ever had. It's been, it's 4-wheel drive, drives anywhere. If we get snow up here, you can drive through it, no problem. It's economical. You feel when you're on the motorway, you feel absolutely safe as anything in it. It's my favourite car, family car that I've had.
Well, we did a chat a few weeks ago with Holly McRae, the daughter of Colin McRae,
Yes.
and that's what she drives.
Yeah.
So
Oh, really?
there you go. So she
Yeah.
knows what she was doing. So
No, she doesn't. She rolled it.
no, that was
Oh,
the
did she?
rally.
That's it.
Oh,
So-
well, I'm not surprised she likes it. It's the best. I've had it for years, and the thing is, the shape's timeless. You know, it really is. It looks brand new, and I look after it. And although I could do the wheels need to get a wee buff up, but other than that, it looks pretty good. Yeah.
But you're a busy guy. I mean, presumably you don't have time to tinker under the bonnet or anything. Well, there's no tinkering to be done under the bonnet.
There's not, no. I mean, remember the days we used to buy a car, you'd open the bonnet? I think the last 5 cars I bought, I've nearly did. You were near it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you've got a busy time ahead, so good luck with the stage show, particularly.
Yeah. Thanks very much. Thanks. I'm doing a play. I start rehearsals for a play in a couple of weeks. So that's before that though. So yeah, we'll keep me off the streets. So yeah.
Well, we'll look forward to seeing you doing the hydro.
Thanks very much. Well, fingers crossed.
And keep safe on the roads. And thanks for talking to us today on Scotland the Drive.
Oh, thanks for inviting me along. Appreciate it. Thanks.
This is Scotland the Drive.
Scotland the Drive with Ali Bally and Alan Douglas, two of us here, looking at what's happening as far as motoring is concerned in Scotland. Can I just say congratulations to our winner on the last edition. We asked you to subscribe or like us, and as we say, subscribe is free. Many did. Thank you very much indeed. It gets our numbers up, and people know then that they're looking. And coming out as the winner of the mug, there it is, the brand new Scotland to Drive mug. Coming out the winner is Edith McWhirter. Edith, congratulations to you. If you'd like to send us an email, that would be great, and we can get that email sorted out with your address on it, and then get you the mug out to you. So just send an email off to us, and that would be fantastic. Great.
Now, we were talking earlier about elections in prospect, so the government are coming up with all sorts of initiatives. They're apparently spending another £17.8 million of funding for a package of incentive schemes to encourage us to change over to EVs. It'll focus on improving access to public, workplace and home charging, targeted support for rural and island communities, lower income households, households without off-street parking, micro businesses and third sector organisations. So it's all to encourage us to switch over to electric. And I have to say, with what's been going on in the Middle East, it's very tempting, isn't it?
Well, yeah. I think car buyers, if you're going for a car just now, car buyers are on the tipping points, because you look and I'm with you there. You think to yourself, should I or shouldn't I? I don't want to go electric, or maybe I do, but I don't think at the moment is the time to be changing. But it's just very undecided for many motorists.
Anyway, the government are pumping more money into it to persuade us. Who said? Did you say it was a bribe? No, not at all.
Not at all.
17.8 million. Mind you, that's maybe the money that we're going to spend anyway, but they're announcing it,
ahead of time.
Just ahead of time. And other statistics from the government. It's quite interesting. They provide statistics on what we're doing as regards travel every year, and they're looking back at 24-25. There were 334 million bus journeys, an increase of 2% compared to the year before. There were 84.7 million passenger journeys on ScotRail, and motor traffic also rose in 2024. The distance, now this is difficult to get your head around this, the distance driven by motor vehicles on Scotland's roads increased by 2% to 49.3 billion vehicle kilometres. Right, that's quite a long way.
Yeah.
So a lot of driving. So it increased by 2%, and it's slightly above the figure of 2019. So there are more people driving and more cars on the road. In fact, they did give figures for the number of motor vehicles, not just cars, but motor vehicles registered in Scotland, 3.2 million. You know, we're going to run out of space, aren't we?
No.
Anyway, it's an all-time high. But interestingly, there's an increase in everything except on-road cycling. Cycling has decreased by 5% in 2024 compared to 2023. That's amazing, with all these cycle lanes as well. That's I don't know what's going on there.
I know. Ridiculous.
But, anyway, they're still spending money on cycle lanes, and it appears that more of them are empty. I talked about Fuel Finder.
Yes. Yeah.
Great news this was that we'd have all this data on the prices of fuel at the pumps. Well, I went on to it, and it's completely incomprehensible. I just couldn't understand it at all. It was just masses of data, and I couldn't make head or tail of it. So I emailed them and said, look, what's going on here? I thought this was supposed to be clear.
Easy.
You just look at it and you can see what price. Oh, no, that's not for public use. So this Fuel Finder thing that they've been publicising is not for public use. What they do is they supply that to people who do the apps, and you go into the app and you find it.
So
I did that.
You went on the app.
I did that, and I found one called Fuel Map UK, and I have to say, it's great.
Is it?
Yeah, you go on, you just find where you want to see what the prices are, and it gives you all the options, it gives you all the prices. Supposedly, they're updated every 30 minutes, but I saw one which was a week old. So the way things are going at the moment, prices are doubling every week. But a lot clearer. So Fuel Map UK is the one I found as the clearest, and you can go onto that and see what the prices are. And finally, as they say,
yes,
unless you've got anything else.
I have.
Oh, you have?
Okay, you carry on.
Oh, well, okay, well, you're always looking for something to spend your money on, aren't you?
I just don't have enough.
And you like Range Rovers?
I like Range Rovers.
How about a Twisted Range Rover? Not one that's been bent, not one that's right off. This is Twisted. It's a high-performance company that produce, they take old vehicles and completely rebuild them and make them high performance. They've been doing a lot with Land Rover Defenders, buying old Land Rover Defenders and doing them up and producing these amazing specimens. Well, they've now produced a Range Rover Classic version. Now, £350,000 it costs. That's what it starts at. Now you think, who's going to buy that? Well, all their build slots for 2026 have been sold.
Go on.
Yeah. So there's a market out there. They only build 12 a year, so they've already sold 12 of these, starting at £350,000. It's got a 500 horsepower V8 8-speed automatic transmission engine, aluminium bodywork, and all sorts of other bits and pieces that make them really special. So if you want a really special Range Rover, completely rebuilt, and it'll only cost you starting at £350,000. So there you are.
Yeah, thanks. I'll give that a miss.
You could put that in your note to Santa.
Yeah. I was just going to mention that Chery is another brand, of course, that's new to this country and doing very well. The first full hybrid arrives in the showrooms this summer. It's a Chery Tiggo 4C SH. It'll be priced from $19,995, and it looks really good. This is the fourth model to launch since September, and in February alone, Chery put 1,406 vehicles on the roads of the UK, achieving a 1.56 market share, which, when you consider how limited a time they've been going, doing very well. So they're launching it to the press on the 13th of April. So Lorraine and I are looking to attend that and bring the news back for you.
Yeah, I like the Chery.
Yeah, it was good.
This is the new Tiggo, no?
Yes.
Oh, it is the Tiggo. Yeah, it was the Tiggo we both had, and I liked it. It was quite surprising. Yeah, as we said, there's a lot of good Chinese
stuff going around.
Cars coming around. Yeah, they're very interesting.
So that's about it. But once again, I'll say congratulations to Edith McWhorter. Edith, please get in touch just send us an email and we'll make sure that you've got your mug sent off to you. The email address is scotlandthedrive@gmail.com. Sorry, datecom.
You're really up with this technology.
Really am.
Anyway, next time.
Yes.
We've got. I have a forecast.
You have a forecast.
Forecast.
Yes.
That we'll have TV weatherwoman Judith Ralston talking about her first car. Well, not necessarily her first car, but her first drive, where she took to the wheel at the age of 14, unofficially, and without her father's knowledge. I think he got a bit of a shock when he discovered. I think she got a bit of a shock.
He was out of the country at the time, she tells us.
So anyway, Judith Ralston will be here next time to talk about her first experience of driving.
That should be interesting.
So join us for that, and we'll look forward to seeing you.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Scotland the Drive with Alan Douglas and Ali Bally.